This is Let's Talk Business with your hosts, Marc Ebinger and Heather Boehme. Now, here's Marc.
Welcome to Let's Talk Business, a show that talks entrepreneurship with some of the best businesses in the San Antonio area. Coming up on the show today, we're going to talk about the challenges of starting a new air conditioning business. In studio with us today are Samantha Rodriguez and Fabian Salazar, the owners of All About AC. Samantha, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
You bet. Fabian?
Hey, Marc. Good morning.
Good morning, guys. Also in the studio with us today is Heather Boehme, a certified business coach that works with business owners to gain clarity and achieve their goals. Heather, welcome back to the show.
Always glad to be here.
And I'm your host, Marc Ebinger, the owner of Crükus Marketing Agency, a company that specializes in giving small businesses, like myself, a competitive edge by hiring low-cost remote working specialists from outside the United States, which is how I built my entire company. A quick reminder for our listeners, you can catch video and podcast versions of the show anytime by visiting our website at satalkradio.com. And if you are a business owner in the San Antonio area and would like to have your company featured on the show, if you want to come and sit next to me and be all nervous like Fabian over there, just reach out to our folks in the office at 210-879-8804. That's 210-879-8804. Or you can go to satalkradio.com and click on that guest link there. All right, so we were talking before we kind of came on about kids, getting our kids involved in the business and entrepreneurship. And Samantha, you were talking about one of your kiddos. Just what did she do?
Emery, she came up to us and was like, "Hey, Mama, I want to sell this slime that I made." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is so nerve-wracking." And I was like, "But let's go. Who am I to turn
Kill
off
their
her
dream.
flame?" Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, "Let's go." And we went to our neighbors, and sure enough, she sold all her slime. It was crazy. Yeah.
How many people did she have to go to sell it?
It was just like 5 people back to back, and they all bought it.
They all bought it. Do you think they need it, or were they just like, "Oh, she's cute, we'll go ahead and buy it"?
Actually, that's funny. So I didn't see anything, that it would be worth. But one of the neighbors actually said, "Yeah, I could use this to clean my car, like to dust out the little corners of her car." So, yeah. So
Okay. What do you think about all that, Fabian?
At first, I was a little weirded out. I was just like, oh my gosh, this is so embarrassing. And she actually told me first. So I was doing something. I was just like, real quick. I was like, what? No. And then she went to her. And then she told me, she's like, hey, go, take her. And then, of course, I took a minute. And then she's like, I'm going to take her. And so then they go. And then she sells like 3 of them. And then she comes back and she's like, I'm going to make more.
Yeah,
so I can sell more. And then it was my turn. So I was like, okay, I'll go with you. So then we ended up going, and she sold all of them. I think this one guy didn't have cash. So that was the only thing. Yeah.
Well, the lesson learned, get some kind of pay
Venmo
app or something going.
Yeah.
So this is there's some similarities, because when you guys started your AC business, there was this like, hey, we could just do this ourselves, right? And there's that nervousness, that self-worth comes in there. This is why, empowering our kids at a young age with, yeah, you can do that, absolutely, 100%, and helping them make it a reality. That stuff sticks with us our whole life. So good job on getting that going.
Well, and something that I always find unique is I was not an entrepreneurial kid. I was not selling slime to my neighbors at all. I was just like, I'm going to get a job. And I just kind of grew into entrepreneurship as an adult. So were you guys entrepreneurial kids, or is that something where you're kind of realizing it in adulthood?
Actually, Fabian was very much an entrepreneur since he was, and I said that wrong, but he was definitely business minded since he was a little kid. He would sell. I mean, you want to go ahead?
Yes, I was fortunate enough to have a dad growing up, so it was just my single mom and my 2 older sisters. And so growing up, we didn't really have the best money. Pretty much, we grew up in the slums, and my mom would work at a flea market. And so every weekend, instead of everyone going, or instead of the kids staying at home and all that, no, she would take us, because she didn't have a babysitter for one, so she would just take us to the flea market, and then we would just be there every Saturday and Sunday, hot, cold, rain, like whatever, and selling whatever she gets her hands on. And so that I started seeing that at an early age, and the people next to me, they had like a little restaurant, and they were like, "Hey, do you want to come and work for me?" And then I think I started working for that Saturday and Sunday. I would work for like $15 a day, and I thought it was like the best.
Oh yeah, that's a lot of arcade games. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Well, no, actually, so Fabian tells this like wonderful story about when he made his first $100 and how he was like, "How can I spend this?" And he saw an infomercial late at night about selling stuff on the internet. So he went and used his money that he made from his first whatever to buy that book or whatever to sell stuff on the internet. And so that just goes to show like how he's always just been like, let's make more money. Let's make more money. Instead of spending that money on arcade games, he was like, how can I make more?
Oh, you're way ahead of where I was at.
Yeah.
Every quarter I had was Space Invaders and whatnot. So that's cool. But so now your kids are growing up in a different environment, right? Because they're seeing you guys build your business out and all of the challenges, struggles, or you guys aren't husband and wife, but I mean, pretty much husband and wife, right?
Yeah.
But you guys are having those discussions in the house, and if it's like my house, some of them can get a little bit tense at times, you know what I mean? But the kids they're learning how to, I guess, face those challenges that are coming up, and that it's okay, right? It's okay to have difficulty and have serious discussions about stuff, but everything's good, right? We're moving in a forward direction, which is, I think, good for kids to experience that in a household. How do you guys see that as far as what your kids are being exposed to in your house as you guys have launched this business 2 years ago?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we see it all the time because our older daughters, they've seen us right since the beginning, but they had already developed. Ileana is our 4-year-old. So she's been with us since like the start of the business, and you see it in how she plays. So she doesn't play like pretend like a horse, or she gets a little table. She puts stuff from around the house, and she's like, does anybody want to come to my store? I'm selling this. I'm selling this. And she'll be like, okay, what would you like? And you ask for like strawberry ice cream. She's like, I don't have strawberry ice cream, but I have this. And it's $100. So I think that's like a representation of her just seeing her mom and dad since she was a baby talk about transactions and how we're going to like, oh, we don't have this, but we can offer this, so.
And apparently charging a high price for
Yeah.
Charging what you're worth.
It's the value, right?
Yeah.
It's the value.
Well, me and my husband were talking about this weekend too, because again, I was not entrepreneurial minded. I wasn't raised to be an entrepreneur at all. My dad even owned business, and I was like, that looks terrible. Like, ew, it's not something I want to do. But a lot of what we talked about was more around the mindset that we plan on, or we're raising our kids to have, the mindset of you control your reactions to things and your actions, and you can build whatever life you want. How is that coming into play with your kids versus, growing up and just kind of figuring it out on your own?
Yeah. So
You guys are setting the stage.
Yeah. Because we are taught right at a young age that 9 to 5, you're going to go to school and you're going to learn this, and that's the only way.
It's the Ford model.
That's what we were taught, and we went to school and we tried it out, and guess what? It wasn't for us. And so, I feel like we're teaching the kids that there's other ways to do things, like to be business owners. And it's a great thing, having a trade. When COVID hit, it was an awesome thing for us to be able to, hey, we have something that we can provide to our community that's going to be helpful. So I don't know. I feel like it's good for them.
Yeah, I've taken an unschooled approach with Brooke, where, I mean, she really only does like 1 day a week of any kind of schooling, and the rest of it is like she's having fun being a kid. You have access to everything you need on the internet, but she's learning about entrepreneurship. And one of the things I'm teaching her is how, because I run teams of people, right? I'm not about getting myself a job that I can't get out of. I'm about teaching her how to build a team. What do you want to do, and build a team around it, so that now you have leverage going out. So that's kind of how I'm approaching, the job world to Brooke, is like, to her point, you can do whatever you want. What do you want to do? Okay, well, you can go do it. You can go be a barista at Starbucks if you want to. Go have fun with it, right? but there's not longevity there as
Mhm.
far as what you're going to make, build a life for yourself, but have fun. But it's like, if you want to make real money, you have to leverage.
Mhm.
I mean, that's just, otherwise, even attorneys will charge $350 an hour, but there's only so many hours you can work in a day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It's
for
funny that
sure.
you say that, Mark, because that $350, our lawyer charges us $500 an hour.
Yeah.
So,
It's like, well, who is your lawyer?
Inflation.
Yeah.
I've got an
So-
attorney you should probably talk to. He
Yeah.
doesn't charge that much.
No, he's great. We just won a good one.
Yeah,
Well, that's
he's
what
great.
matters, right? $500 to save $1,000.
No, but going back to that, my daughter, I had told her that this lawyer makes $500 an hour, and I had made a reference to that to a job. One of my first legal jobs was Chick-fil-A, and that I actually had a W-2 and everything. Before that, everything was just cash, and people would just pay me.
Mhm.
Ah,
and
the good
stuff
old
like
days.
that.
Yeah.
$15 a day
but-
under the table.
Yeah.
Yes, I know, but you know what I
Yeah.
mean. But I remember starting too. I think I was like 18 years old, and I think I was like it was like $7.25 an hour, and I was thrilled. But I made that reference to her, and I was just like, I made about $300 a week of a week's worth
Mhm.
of a whole week of my time, and she started kind of like seeing the difference, and she's like, well, why? Like, why do they have to work that much, and then they have to work this much? So it's really cool that I'm making her like think about this and like ask these questions.
Mhm.
And
That's Arya, right?
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Oh
So
my
Arya's
gosh.
like, I was like, you can come work with us on the weekend handing out flyers. I'll pay you minimum wage. She was like, what's minimum wage? I was like, oh, like 7 something. And she was just like, yeah, no, it's not. She's like, it's not worth my time.
My time is worth more than that.
That's good. So critical thinking, that's another thing that
Yeah.
and I don't know that they do well in that with that in schools, teaching
Yeah.
critical
Yeah.
thinking skills.
Yeah, and it's funny because Fabian was also in a kind of 9 to 5, right? Because you worked with other companies for so long, and that was kind of our we were afraid to make the jump into having our own business. So changing your mindset was
Yes,
what
that's
started
very
it
true.
all.
So I used to work for two of the largest companies in San Antonio, and man, they trained me to be the guy. So I would wake up in the morning, and then they would have all my day scheduled out. Nothing would fall off schedule. Everything would go as planned. I would have all my team. I have the dispatch. I have install team. I have everyone like supporting me. So I just get there, I do what I have to do, and then I get out, and someone comes behind me and then just takes over. So
Sounds like a great business model.
Yeah,
so
for
I
I
was
sure.
going to ask, like, what are you taking from that experience that you're putting into your own business, and what are you doing differently?
Yeah, so with that, I was able to see a lot of things on the employee side, but I was also able to see a lot of things on the management side.
Mhm.
I was able to see like how much they pay, what do they pay out their employees, what their what is it, the P&L sheets, and their EBITDA, all that good stuff. So I was able to take that, and I was also able to take relationships from that, because one of the general manager of one of the largest companies in San Antonio is actually our business mentor.
Mhm.
So he is guiding us towards the right path. He's managing he's managing a company that's producing $150 million a year.
That's
So,
all.
Yes.
Right.
That's all.
Yes. So he's running a big machine. So we're really blessed.
Yeah,
for-
we're grateful to have
Yes.
him in our corner to guide us along the way and to have all those relationships.
So
It's
the
been
whole
awesome.
whole time I had started air conditioning. I wasn't like from the beginning. I started as a helper, but I didn't have that helper mindset. I wanted to be sitting where the guy on top was. So
Mhm.
Why do you want to be on top, though?
why do I want to be on top?
Is it the money? Is it because it's not a whole lot of freedom. It's freedom in decision making, right?
Mhm.
But there's also all that responsibility that comes with it. There's a whole other set of headaches that come with owning a business and operating a business. Why did you want to be in that position?
Because I wanted to provide what that man on top provided to me
Ah.
and all his other employees.
Mhm.
Like if he was able to do that, like I wanted to be the one that would do that.
That's a
And
really good reason to do that.
Mhm.
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
He's
So
said that a lot of times. Yeah.
yes, I wanna give someone a life that they gave me, and if someone comes up to me and shows me passion, and they have the passion for it, and they're willing to work, I will show him everything. I don't have any secrets. I don't keep anything back, and I literally will show him everything to get where I am.
Well, I think when people look at the business world, they look at kind of like that Fortune 500 CEO, cutthroat, step on people's back, but there's a whole level of this abundance mentality business owners that they want to pour into other people. And if you want to go out and form your own business, I'm going to do everything I can to help you with that, instead of, oh, you're going to take business away from me. When you were forming that relationship with your mentor, because it sounds like you met them, obviously probably got to know them for a little bit, or is it something where after you'd already left and started your own thing, you met them?
No, Fabian's known him since he started.
Since day one, so he saw me as a helper, pretty much just start with the company.
Yeah.
So to now.
He just appreciated your ethic, your attitude, and your skill as well.
And coming forward toward to asking him was really, really cool, because he didn't even hesitate.
Yeah.
He just
I
said
was
yes.
telling him, I was like, just ask him, because I'm a part of
you got the posture right and everything. Just ask him.
No, because I'm a part of, I joined this program. It's really cool, the resources that we have here in San Antonio for small businesses. So it's a part of the city of San Antonio. It's a mentor protege program. Shout out Mario. And it's been great, right? So you take all these free courses at the beginning, QuickBooks, how to do marketing, a bunch of there were 3-4 hour courses that you would take. And then once you finish the first phase, you have to find a mentor. And then that mentor is with you for either a year or 2 years, I don't remember. And they're helping you meet once a month, sit down, go over P&Ls and what your goals are. And they just help you with anything. Hey, I need help with managing my technicians. I need help with this. And they help you throughout it. So I needed to find a mentor for me. And I wanted him. And I was like, my love, just go ask him. And then one night I was like, I'm not going to leave until you ask him.
There we go.
And then he did. He put him on speaker and he was like, hey, do you think you could do this? He was just like, yeah, let's go. I was like, you see? Why did you do this a long time ago? So the willingness, it was awesome. And also we're like that. All of our best friends have companies in the HVAC business, plumbing business, and there's enough for all of us to eat. So if somebody can't take a call, they'll call us, hey, Fabian and Sam, I know you guys are up all night. Can you take this call for us? And then they hand it over. Likewise, if we need somebody else's help, hey, JC, can you help us out? He's like, yeah, for sure. So it's a pretty neat network that we have.
Cool.
Yeah, Marc, we are a 24-hour service company, so we answer our phone all the time.
And we take the kids with us, too.
So who's answering your phone?
Both of us.
Yeah.
Really?
Whoever has the phone.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, when you're ready for remote staffing on that, I can help you with
We
that.
might be. We might be.
It's kind of cool to be able to.
I also got that option to get an answering service and all that, but I don't know. I think for now, since we are a smaller company, it's really, really personable to answer who is going to actually go, or my wife, and just rather than just someone hired.
So here, let me play devil's advocate on that for just a second.
Tell me.
I totally get it, right?
Yes.
Especially when the budget's always a concern. Got it, 100%. But, and I'm going to put this to Heather as well. So Heather's my business coach. I think I told you guys that already, right?
Yes.
So I do a lot of networking. I meet a lot of business folks that they're like, my customers know that I'm the one that answers that phone, and I'm there for them, and I'm blah, blah, blah. I'm like, all right, cool. I get it. But before I give my opinion on it, Heather, what's your opinion on that?
Well, I work with a lot of different type of businesses, and there are the ones that it's very service oriented and personal. But at the end of the day, I think the communication piece is the most important. Will someone answer the phone and at least give me an expectation? Because very few people that are reasonable in this world, which, let's be honest, there are some Karens out there who would not fit this mold, but very few reasonable people expect you to drop everything that you're doing right now and run to them, unless it's like a life-threatening emergency. Firefighters, you don't count if you're listening here. But if you're able to say, I acknowledge your need and I can be here at this time, that communication puts people at ease. They know what to expect. They know when to expect you. So when you start growing out, because I understand right now it's your baby. This business is your 5th child, really.
Yeah.
But as you start growing out, if you can give your customers that peace of mind that I acknowledge that you have the need and I'm going to be there at this time, that gives you guys the leeway to, you know, not drop everything.
So like I'm a small business guy, right? I mean, but I always set the expectation. And I have one person. I don't have an answering service, right? I have a person. Leslie's going to do this. Or actually, I have a podcast person, Alvin. Alvin will be in touch. He's the one who's going to take care of you. I just always set that expectation first. But what that means is that I don't have to be by the phone. So that when I'm meeting with somebody, if I don't grab that phone call, it's missed or whatever. So it's like somebody's always, but I always just set that expectation. So, because I know you guys want to scale. I know you're looking to grow. Just it's okay to not be that person. So if that's helpful, anyway.
No, yes. Also, since we started, I've been handling the phone, so everyone's getting used to me. So I recently just switched over, gave Samantha over the phones because I'm handling a lot out in the field. So I'm taking a little bit of workload off me, and people are calling her, and they're like, is Fabian there? No, is there anything I can help you with? No, just have Fabian call me.
I was like, why did you do this? Because I had been telling him from the beginning, let me take the phone.
I blame that on myself. So yes.
So you guys
totally
have 4
right.
kids. So again, it's look at, you know, you'll have to transition again when it comes to, and it's okay, right? I mean, it's okay to, as long as they're not expecting to do a walk through their home and solve an HVAC issue with this person on it. That's not what this is, right? That's okay. Let me get Fabian on the phone. He'll call you. It's just a segue. It's just that person that we just, to Heather's point, we just want somebody to answer the phone when we call, and we want to know that we're going to get taken care of. It doesn't have to be the owner.
Yeah.
So once you guys get past that point,
And I think that's a pain point, especially in the contracting world of people will do a good job and then they get referred and then they get overwhelmed and don't show up. So being able to set yourself apart with that communication is big. And you guys are doing it a little bit differently than most startup AC companies, because most of the time people start an AC company, they knock doors, they get a lot of residential work, and then they try to scale up into commercial. You guys kind of flipped that business model. You do mostly commercial work and you're actually working your way into residential. So what allowed you to start with that commercial? What gave you that direction and focus?
Fabian's relationships with other contractors.
Yes, definitely. General contractors. Also, we started the company with like literally like in the middle of the pandemic, hardly any money. I think we got our tax return, and then we used that to buy equipment for our first job, and then
and it was a commercial job.
Yes, it was a commercial job too. So and then several of my best friends are general contractors, so they do a lot of work on high-rise buildings, and they have like property management companies, huge property management companies. So that's how we started. Commercial maintenance plans and stuff like that. But everything else has been word of mouth. So everything else, like residential, has been word of mouth. But commercial can get a little stressful. So
yeah, let's talk about this. What's stressful about the commercial jobs?
Just hard. The units are on the roof rather than you just walking through the door of residential and they're right there in the closet.
Or they're in the attic space like mine is.
Oh,
yes. I mean, that's better than having to climb a 2-story roof. Where's the ladder? Where's the ladder access?
Are you scared of heights?
Yeah.
Yeah, instead of having outside a customer behind you, you have the sun behind you. And it's like, Fabian, are you done yet?
Well, and commercial sometimes can be 30, 60, 90 days out on accounts receivables too, whereas the homeowner is, okay, we're done. Mira.
Yes.
So
basically.
Being a newer company, you started this with your tax return, and commercial jobs generally are accounts receivable 30, 60, 90. How do you guys manage that as a newer business? Is it a line of credit? Are you doing this all cash?
It's been all cash up until recently. So we flipped our first job and just have been going with that, right? But another awesome resource is Lift Fund. We just recently got approved for a small loan through Lift Fund. So that's keeping us, it's just like a little cushion just for like winter for our employees, and also to build our credit up, right? So that we could get bigger loans or bigger lines of credit.
Spell that?
Liftfund, Liftfund.
Okay,
Liftfund.
Gotcha. Okay.
Want it in a sentence, Mark?
This is
Live
a
on
fun
it,
one.
like
Yeah.
this. A little bit of fireback.
Oh, you got jokes. All right.
Fabian's used to it.
She's the funny one in the
Yes.
family?
No,
Well,
but
you
I
gotta be,
like
you got
it because
kids, right?
I feel like a lot of newer business owners, especially when they're
No,
just getting
yes.
started, can be kind of scared of a line of credit.
Mm-hmm.
And that a lot of the time will keep them from going into the commercial world because they have to, it's basically you have to have the cash to be able to float the payroll, the materials and everything until you get paid. So what was your mindset going into finding lift funds and really starting on that line of credit?
No, you're right. Completely scared. All our lives, right, we're told debt is the bad guy. Do not go into debt. It shackles you, and and you do feel like you're drowning. But we found by reading all the books, all like Ken Goodrich, all these books that we read, right, that you need credit, and in order to get credit, you need to get like in debt a little bit, right? But not in debt. You're paying it off. You don't go over your head. So it was scary at first, and then we didn't have the financial literacy coming from where we came from. I mean, we're from Brownsville, Texas. We grew up poor. We grew up whatever money you have, spend it because you might die tomorrow. That's how we grew up.
Yep.
So we didn't have the good credit scores. We didn't. So it was just a lot of like small business departments, speaking with people like Renee from there, trying to figure out what we could do to get our credit score up, to get that line of credit. And luckily for us, Lift Fund, just communicating with the people from there and kind of like begging, like, hey, just take a chance on us. Like, we really need it. It would be really helpful for us in the future. And then it just worked out. So
It also really sucks when you get denied. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You try so much, and you want to go to the next step, and you just need a little bit of help. And I mean, luckily I have friends, and like there's been times that like I really need something, and like my friends really help me out. But yes, it's like it's really discouraging too, because just constantly getting denied, and trying to get a vehicle. Like right now we're currently renting a vehicle through it's called Fluid Truck Share, and we rent it weekly, and they allowed us to put logos on it and our magnets, so we're just running through with that right now for the meantime, as our credit starts building up and we can get a vehicle loan. And it's crazy too, because we're literally paying the payment of this rental, but on paper credit says that we can't afford it.
So but getting lines of credits and loans like that is important so that we can buy a vehicle on our own.
So that's like is that the biggest challenge you guys are really kind of having right now?
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
I would say
Cash
That's the
flow
only
or-
challenge we've had so far is the financing.
What about, as I heard, like finding technicians, finding good employees is difficult now. Is that not an issue for you?
We have a great technician, Chris, and we just have a helper now, Jose. We hadn't really been looking, just because we couldn't afford anybody, so we didn't want to hire somebody and then not be able to put food on their table. So now that's what Lift Fund has provided for us, right? That stability, so that we could have Chris and Jose on our team. But Chris has been great. I think, again, it's the relationships Fabian has built where he's just like, I know these people, but it might be an issue that we have, because we've heard also that it's hard to find people that will do the job like you want it, especially when you have somebody as meticulous as Fabian, because his work, if you see it, you're just like, wow. You might not even know about HVAC, but you look at it and you're like, this is good.
Yes, like part of like hiring and everything, that's really scary for me, because the huge liability, someone could flood a house, burn a house, blow up a house. So whenever like part of the first year that we were in business, I was contracting like just my friends and subcontractors, so they would help me out, but I would never leave them on a job. I would always oversee everything.
Mhm.
It just up until now that we hired Chris, he rode with me for a couple months just so he can see the way I like things. And then every call I tell him to call me, take pictures, and so there's a lot of communication whenever he goes out and there's a call.
Do you guys keep track of your jobs by taking photographs? There's like certain software, right, that you can upload all your stuff to as a record
Yes, sir.
of your work.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we use House Call Pro. So with each job we're at, they're supposed to be taking pictures. So we could show our clients also, like, hey, this is what happened. This is how we fixed it. So it's a good point of reference also if we need to go back for model numbers, serial numbers, stuff like that.
Well, and it sounds like a lot of the entire business you've built up has been based on the relationships and getting help from the relationships that you've already built. And that will probably be a credit to you in the future. What's been a commonality between everybody you've subcontracted to or hired that you can point to that lets you know that they're going to be the one to do the job well?
Man, you could really just tell when you sit down with someone, and I think more so when you ride in a truck with someone, because it's like one thing is having a conversation, going to have lunch. Another thing is actually having him in your truck, whoever, and just being with him all day and every day for a week or two. You get to pick up on if
They're going to be a good fit.
yeah, on little things, you know, like when you go inside a customer's house, how much are they respected? Did they put on the shoe covers? Did they are they nicking corners? Are they, you know, I'm very adamant, and I make sure that whoever I bring in the house, I tell them, hey, watch this, careful this, because I've seen it all. So I tell them scenarios that have happened, and you know, they get shocked and they get surprised, but I've pretty much seen it all. So
Have you come across someone who you were just like, absolutely not, I won't let you on a job?
oh yeah,
Yeah.
Who was it? No,
Absolutely.
I'm kidding.
Yeah.
oh man. Okay, so the previous company that
I was
that,
like,
that
no, don't say it.
So the previous company that I worked for, I was given a lot of responsibility, so I was able to manage, like, you know, a couple people, and man, that was like my first step into business ownership, you know, handling other people. He was literally doing drugs on the job. Yes, and
It's a big no-no.
yes, so hard drugs too.
I was going to say, what are some of the red flags if they're doing hard drugs on the job?
Yes.
You gotta go.
If it comes in a needle, it's probably not a
Yeah,
good
it's probably
idea.
not
Yes,
going to be a
no.
good fit.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yes.
So, challenge-wise, okay, so maybe when you get to that threshold of hiring, that's going to be a unique challenge. Is that something that you're nervous about or excited about?
Both.
Okay.
I do want to, you know, just like all the other companies, big companies that I worked for, I want to set systems into play, and so we can prevent like people like this from getting in here. So like interviews, you know, just systems into play.
It's the same thing, the mindset that you have towards, look, this guy was able to do $100 million business,
Oh, yeah.
and I want to be like that because I want to be able to do it well and create a world and a company where people want to come and work for and they do well at. I have the same mindset with my team too. I can definitely relate. On that journey though, you don't get to 100 million without falling on your face. It's like Mike Tyson says, everybody has a plan until you get punched in the mouth.
Yeah.
It's like, right? And that just kind of wakes you
Yeah.
up to these things are going to hurt, but it's actually leaning into them. It's a posture thing. It's like, I'm going to lean into those challenges that are coming. I'm not afraid of it. It's part of the job of being a boss is leaning into these challenges and embracing them and taking your hits and moving on. What are is there any part of the job or the business that has got you a little nervous?
No. I know that I have full like confidence in the work that Fabian does, and we've tried other things before. Well, I've tried other things before HVAC, right? Because I was a stay-at-home mom before, so I've sold whatever you can think of. I've done all those things, but I've always been like insecure about doing those things. And I was just telling Fabian not too long ago that I am 100% confident. I have no worries when he and Chris go out to jobs. I don't have any worries. I I speak to people so confidently about our business just because I've seen the work that he does. I go on the jobs with him sometimes, and I could see the relationships that he's building. So nothing has made me nervous yet.
Well, that part's taken care of.
Yeah, because he's.
But the administrative side of it.
Administrative.
You're going to have to, if you're going to be in charge, because it's your company, you're a 100% woman-owned company, right?
I was gonna add
There's
that,
lots of
Mark.
benefits come from that.
I could just leave.
It can,
Yeah.
you can be like, I'm not coming in. I feel sick.
Yeah, I'm
Wait.
just the license holder.
She's like, get out of here.
You mean I could just fire you? Just kidding. No, you're right.
'Cause there's-
So the growth is what scares me. So, but I want to plan ahead, right? So that's why I've been.
So the growth is what's unknown. It doesn't scare you. Lean into it, right?
Okay, lean
Lean
into it.
into it. Don't be afraid of it, because it's like, it's coming.
Yeah, it
How are you
is.
going to handle these bigger challenges? You don't get to 50 million, 100 million, whatever it is, without these big administrative challenges. So
You're right.
he's going to be doing what he's got to do to build his team out, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's part of it. But the administrative stuff, the operations side, has to run well too.
Yeah.
So, but there's going to be lots of cool stuff, and I know Heather knows this world really, really well when it comes to the pieces and the parts and the expectations and all of that knowledge. How are you going to tackle that?
By reaching out to whoever I can.
Your
Because
mentor, right?
Yeah, my
Mhm.
mentor.
Mentor's going to be great along those for your big piece.
I like to say this a lot too. I'm not prideful at all. I know I don't know it all, and I'm not afraid to tell somebody like, "Hey, I don't know what this means. I don't know what I'm doing. Can you help me out?" And I've said it so many times to people that I talk to, but it's true. I'm just not prideful at all. I want to succeed. I want to grow this company. We started this company as 100% woman-owned for our daughters, because we only had our 3 girls. We have a son now, but it was for them to show them, right? To show them like, hey, you can do it all. You can be in a predominantly male world and rock it, So I'm not prideful at all. I need to succeed. This is not if I have to, so I could show my daughters and my son that it can be done. So I'm not afraid to reach out to whoever I have to. I mean, I might be calling you Heather, So those are the things that make me nervous, but I know that I'm not going to fail.
So it's getting the knowledge,
Mm-hmm.
super important, because
Same
when
here, Mark.
it like takes away some of that fear, because usually it's fear of unknown. I don't know what's going to happen here. I don't know how to take my business from 1 million to 5 million. There's a difference. It looks different. It acts different. How do I do that? And that's why having the right connections in your life can help with that. So you can just keep leaning into it.
And I have a little bit different take on it. I think if the why is big enough, you'll figure out the how.
Yeah.
And so if you guys
Yes.
have, and it sounds like you do, you've got, why do you want to do this? For your family, to show them that you can do it, to build a life for yourselves. And when you fall flat on your face, or when things happen that you don't expect, or you're faced with challenges, because we all do, if you haven't sat at home at the end of the day and put your head in your hands and thought, oh my gosh, what did I get myself into? Then you probably haven't been an entrepreneur for long enough. Okay. Like,
Yeah, there's
why
an
am I
analogy.
doing this?
Yeah.
There's an analogy that says if you're not sitting on the edge of your seat, you're taking up too much space, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've all had that moment of, oh my gosh, this is really hard. And why am I doing this instead of just getting paid to show up? But if you've got a big enough why, if that reason you're doing it is important enough, you'll figure out the how. No matter who you have to talk to, your mentor, you find the information. And I think you guys have that.
Yeah, and
it's
your
just-
why is really twofold. It's for the kids and it's also for the community. That
Yes.
should definitely come out.
Community for sure.
All right, it's 30. We're already well
we're
into it,
past.
so we got to wrap up. But if folks want to get in touch with you guys, what's a easy way for them to find you?
All about acandheating.com. You can give us a call at 210-274-1088. Instagram, Facebook handle, All About AC. All About AC is for Facebook. All About AC and Heating is for Instagram.
All right, guys, well done. So it was pretty easy, right? Not that hard?
We could keep you
painful.
here all day.
I know you did.
Fabian's like,
Yeah.
All right, as we wrap up the show, quick reminder to check out our latest podcast or catch video version of the show anytime by visiting our website at satalkradio.com. That's going to be it for us. Great job, everybody, and we'll see you on the next one.
Thank you.